Hi guys, welcome to Olive Wood. Welcome to the very first session of your answer writing thing. So, many a times we come across ki answer likhna kaise hai. So we literally get confused. Now, how to come out of that confusion? So for that, these sessions, these descriptive answer writing sessions will be very helpful to you. So throughout this course, we'll discuss a couple of questions. And I would ask you that, whatever questions we are discussing. So you also write whatever the discussions we have done, you can just write it after the class and then you can submit it to me. But then, first of all, the question ki answer likhna kaise, how to start with answer writing journey and all. So first of all, there are certain points that you have to keep in mind. So what are these points? So first thing is that you understand the question. Like whatsoever the question I have given to you, you first read it at least 2 to 3 times. Only then you will come to a conclusion wherein what the question is asking and what you have to attempt. Then outline what response you have to give. So, outline, by that I mean, think in your mind what should be your approach. First of all, if, in the starting, definitely you will require a rough sheet. Write on the rough sheet what the question is asking. If there are 2-3 topics that the question is asking, write over there. And that's how your approach will be. After that, focus on certain key areas. Certain key points will be there that you have to focus. Like, let's suppose I ask you a question about the challenges which are related to economic growth or development, or the tribal people, what challenges they are facing. Because of that, we have this Janjatiya Unnat Bharat scheme coming up. Or for that matter of fact, PVTGs, what are the problems related to that, the challenges or the policy recommendation and all. So you will be able to write the answer only if you know what the question is asking. The next thing is write the introduction and the conclusion. So write a clear introduction. Introduction should be related to what the question is asking. It should not be like that question is asking about women's education and you are writing about poverty. It cannot be like that. So the thing is, you have to write the main theme of your answer in the introduction. Like, the introduction must outline what actually the question is asking. It should not be like, ki hame to yahi quote pata hai, so we are going to write the same quote. We are going to address the same case study, no matter whatever the question is asking. So that will not be the case. Next is use bullet points, use numbered points. This is important. Don't write your answer in the paragraph form. Essay, you can use paragraphs. But in your answer writing, I want it in bullet. And in fact, they will also be giving you more marks if it is in the bullet form. Next is avoid any kind of thing which is repetitive, like the same thing, the same scheme, talking about it. Like in education also, you have talked about skill development, and in human capital formation, again, you are talking about skill development. That should not be the case. Whatever you have discussed once, you have discussed it. Sometimes what happens is we have written everything that we knew in the introduction part. Now we have nothing left to be written in the conclusion part. Now in this case scenario, what we tend to do is we try to have a certain kind of a thing wherein we'll write the same thing. So that should not be the case. If you have written something in the introduction, the same thing you cannot write it in the conclusion. No paraphrasing is also not allowed. At least, certain new essence should be added in your conclusion, and that's where the planning will be very helpful. Then time management, regular practice is what is required. So for regular practice only, these kind of sessions will be very helpful. Without wasting any further time, certain mistakes that you have to avoid, these are certain mistakes, but I would not read them all to you. You can just understand. When we'll, start writing the answer one after the other, we'll discuss the answer. You keep on, submitting your answers to me. So I'll check them all, but then it's upon you, right, to type your answer. So I'll not check any written answer and only check the typed answer. You can just submit it to me and we can have a discussion over it. This is the first question for you. A recent World Bank report. So the report was released in the month of August. This year only, 2024. So the report's title is World Development Report. And if I talk about this report, the highlight of this year was the middle income trap. Now the question is, have you ever heard about the report? Then I would say, if you are sitting for RBI and NABARD and you haven't heard about the report which is published by your World Bank, then the mistake is all yours. In the syllabus itself, It's written World Bank, IMF, these are important organizations, international organizations. And if a report has come just very recently, then you must have read about it. If not, then this is the session for you. Now, if I talk about this middle income trap, what it is, next thing it is saying, discuss the global economic impact, particularly focusing on India's economic trajectory, strategic policy recommendations, and the risks that could hinder the nation's growth. So that's what the question is asking you about. In such kind of a question, you only pause this video, think what you could have written in the answer altogether. So what could be your approach? Number one, the first thing you should always think about is introduction. How you can introduce such a kind of a question? You can introduce this via either defining MIT, middle income trap. To define what is this middle income trap, I would say if you have some data, if you have read the report, then definitely you will be having a data for such type of a question. If you are writing apt data, you know what the report was saying. You have written the data very nicely. Examiner is gonna give you a lot of marks. And one more thing, read such kind of reports which are there from IMF and World Bank holistically. Do whatever recommendations they have given. But anyways, after introduction comes your major portion of the body. In the body part, what all you have to write is, first of all, you have to write about what are the challenges. Like we must know what are the challenges that these middle income countries they are facing, or why they are not able to go into the higher income bracket. If you have some case study, then you can suggest that as well. After the challenges, you must write about certain policy recommendation or certain policies of government or India or otherwise which are there in the similar lines. You can also discuss about the recommendations which are specifically given in the report, because that is what the examiner is also asking. The last thing is you have to write about what are the risks, specifically considering India into the limelight. So we have to talk about the risks associated as well. In the next part, that is in the conclusion part, if you think what are you going to write, you just pause the video and again think that now, since we have written so much about economic growth, we have discussed about middle income trap, challenges, everything. Now what you could have written in the conclusion, you can write about the way ahead. You can write about how we can actually move towards or achieve the 7 trillion growth economy that we want to. So the conclusion shall be positive looking. It should be positive sides it should come up with, or at least if nothing is doing good, then also we should try and bring in that agar kuch acha nahi bhi, if something is bad as well, then only we will be able to pick up from there as well. So this is how ideally the positive approach can be there in your conclusion. But then that's not it. You just pause the video. If you have you have read the report, then very good. Otherwise, you can just comment down in the comment section. We'll have a discussion over this report, a holistic one, in the upcoming sessions. Otherwise, you think what are you going to write? Just like I have made a mind map on a rough sheet, you too make a mind map like this. In the challenges, at least try to write 5 challenges. In the risks, try to write 6 risks. You can also then write about what all recommendations have been given in the report. And then finally, you can write what all you are going to write in the conclusion. So just like this mind map, just the heading, keywords, the things that you're going to touch upon while you are writing your answer, you can just write it. Once you have written, then you can move upon and see what you can write. Like this is introduction. I know the introduction is a bit long, but then you can cut it short. You can just pick the data which you want to remember. That depends upon you. I'm not providing you with a model answer per se, but I'm just giving you some relevant points which you could have written in the answer. So though it might seem that it is an answer only, but yes, isme se kuch points you can just pick it up. You can utilize in your answer writing, and others you can just leave it. So the first thing is, since it's a 600 words question, the answer must be there in 600 words. You should not try to breach this word limit. This is the maximum word limit that is there. And even if you are breaching this word limit, believe me, you will not be able to attempt your this full paper. Reason being, it's not just about typing. It's about thinking relevant stuff and then typing. So what will happen is, if you are writing too much, बहुत अच्छा है, we are a steno people, we'll be writing at a very fast speed, but then it will not work. Reason being, you have to think what you are writing. Even if your answer is 540 words, examiner is not going to penalize you. But if your answer has quality content, it is touching upon each and every parameter which is required, it is relevant on every aspect, he or she is not going to bother about the 50 60 words that you fell short of. But even if you write 710 words in any 600 words answer, and it doesn't make any sense, or it's just in the bush, you are not talking at point, the examiner is not going to attempt you much marks. But then let's have a discussion over what could have been written in the introduction. You can write about that World Development Report 2024. It highlights critical insights regarding the middle income trap, which is a phenomena where countries experience stagnation in growth as the transition from middle income to high income status happens. As countries grow wealthier, they usually hit a trap of about 10% of annual US dollar GDP per person, which is roughly around $8,000. So that's what they fell into the trap of. They are not able to grow faster than this. So 10% is the maximum GDP growth that they are able to attain, and they are not able to cross this. If you talk about since 1990, only 34 middle income countries, they have managed to shift into higher income status. At the end of 2023, if we suggest, only 108 countries are classified as middle income countries, with a home of to 75% global population and generating more than 40% of the global GDP. If I talk specifically about India, so India joined this club of lower middle income countries in 2007, and we are there only from past so many years. Our GNI per capita is somewhat around $2,540. At current trend, it will take India 75 more years to just reach to 1/4 of US income per capita. So US income per capita is somewhere around $80,000 plus. So as per the article, it suggested that, in fact, multiple newspaper headlines also say the same thing. It will take 75 years to reach 1/4 of what US per capita income is. But then that's not what we are aiming at. Now you would be thinking that so much data, itna yaad nahi rakhna hai. You just pick up the data which you feel you should be writing in your answers. Obviously, I'm providing you a little extra over it, so that each one of you can pick according to your answer writing style and skill. Now, as I have told you, first thing that you have to attempt is you have to write about the challenges. Now, you only think what are the challenges which are associated, or why these countries, they remain in this middle income trap. The first and the foremost challenge is aging population. As India is growing, it's predominantly for the case of India only. As India is growing, yes, our economy is growing, but at the same time, the number of aged population or the dependent population, that is also growing. Because India has now, will be entering, after this decade, we'll be entering into the rapidly aging population, rising protectionism amongst the various advanced economies, the need to speed up your energy transition very fastly, and all these things forms a perfect case why, we'll not be able to come out of this middle income trap. We'll not be able to become the high income country. And that's what the report also suggested. Not only this, some more challenges that are associated with India or globally as well. The first is the low cost labor economy, because of which innovation, high value industries, having these industries become tough. We spend a very little amount on the innovation part. A lot of inequality. You can quote over here the Gini coefficient value that is there from your economic survey, definitely. Otherwise, inclusivity, that is what gets missing. We can discuss about the investment that is required in the human capital, and that is where, again, human capital, if we invest in it, then maybe in the coming years we'll be able to take benefit out of it. Because of bureaucratic system, it hampers entrepreneurship, foreign investment and all. And that is another reason why we'll be trapped in this middle income thing. And the unplanned rapid urbanization, it again creates a problem for your environment. And if we are not living in harmony with the nature or the environment. If sustainable growth is not being focused, then because of ecological reasons, we'll not be able to thrive. Now, if in this you don't want to write all these points, you can simply write the first point and you can enhance upon it. You can discuss a case study. The case study says that China, it took just 10 years for it. So, because it was not, too much into this middle income track, it was able to come out of it within 10 years time span. For Indonesia, it took more than 70 years, and it's still under the trap of this middle income trap and all. So you can just understand this, that this middle income trap is real. That's what the report has also suggested. But if I talk about the global economy is interconnected, the ability of countries like India to transition from middle income to high income status has significant implications. Not only for India, because as I've told you, the global economy is interconnected. So if India is doing good, certainly the global supply chain will be doing good, and it will have positive impact on other things as well, the other things that are going around. The failure to address the middle income trap could result in lost economic potential, affecting not just India, but also the global recovery. If you see, before COVID, the global economic growth was at a higher pace than what it is today. 3.2% is what it is today. But at the earlier times, it was higher. Now, we can simply, if you can simply write after your challenges, you can write about the strategic policy recommendations. But this is just a connecting para. So, because you will be writing there in text format. So there should be a gap, and this will provide a gap. You can just fill in that gap with this, and then straight away jump on to what are the strategic policy recommendations, like enhance your human capital. You can straight away write like this, that give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So that's what it says. Skill is important. Rather than providing universal basic income, go for skilling. That is what it is going to help in the longer run. Foster innovation. Spend on research and development, R&D. That's why Anusandhan Fund was created in recent budget. So, while you are giving this recommendation, you can also talk about what India has done. You can also talk about regulatory framework, wherein there was a time when RBI was too much into this regulation business, but now it is more has a facilitating role. And the same thing goes for your government as well. Why we actually came up with the idea of Niti Aayog and we dumped the Planning Commission, because Planning Commission was more or less a centralized version. But Niti Aayog, it's more decentralized, wherein cooperative federalism is being followed. So you can just write like that. Inclusive growth is important, and that's why certain specific schemes are there which caters or which provide some assertive or you could say some affirmative actions for those who are marginalized. Then sustainable development goals are growth prospect or our economic growth prospects. We always keep into mind what we are doing to the environment as well, and that's why you see we have Campa Fund, we even have this Mishti scheme and all. So why are we doing this? Because we want a holistic growth. Now there are several risks which could impede India's growth trajectory. What are these? The first is, as I've told you, aging population. Then you can talk about how green energy transition, it has been made very dominant by your these developed countries. If you see your European Union, it is so even implying a tax on those which are not using these green transitions properly. Not only this, the domestic policy which are inconsistent with our long-term goals. There is social unrest because there is too much inequality. Because low per capita income, sometimes there is even inequality in that as well. When top 1% they are holding 40% of your wealth, or in that case scenario, certainly there will be social unrest that will be there. Environmentally also, India's coastal region, when the water level is rising, it is going to hamper in India's growth as well. But then what are the key recommendations which are given in the report? So you can write any of these recommendations, but these recommendations, they are written in the report as well. In the report only they have mentioned it. So what are these? They say investment in fusion and innovation, 3I. Remember this 3I strategy and write it if the question comes. If you are writing this, examiner will be sure that at least, yes, the person has read the report, or at least have a brief idea about it. At least newspaper ही पढ़े हैं. अगर report नहीं पढ़ी है तो newspaper में whatever is covered, he has read it. What are these three I's? It is investment, infusion, and innovation. It says that first focus on investment in your green technologies or investment in your skilling initiatives and all. Then have an emphasis on infusion of new technologies. So once you have invested in your green technology and all, then see that how you can infuse that new technology in your day-to-day activities. Once done, then try to have, after infusion, then again you can have an innovation. So these are the three types of strategies that you can award. Next is reward to all those funds, all those firms which are actually stimulating this growth and all. We need to have some deep capital markets. So social impact bonds or your green bonds and all. So they should be there so that these business, they are able to get the credit. And if certain business is doing good in any field, then they should be rewarded. Enhance social mobility. We need to provide equal opportunities for women, to the minorities, as well as to the disadvantaged group. If we actually want to come out of this middle income trap, it becomes important that all the marginalized, all the disadvantaged people, they are getting the benefit of this transition process. Next is, for instance, remove the barriers to entrepreneurship for women. It would raise the real income by 40%. So see, there are certain barriers. These barriers sometimes they are societal barriers. Sometimes these barriers are created because of the mindset. So any which ways, we have to address them and we have to move ahead of it. Then try and enhance the economic efficiency by reflecting economic cost, environmental cost in the energy prices. So that's how you can actually write about what all World Bank has said. But in the end, like, this is not it, in the end you have to conclude your answer. So in the end, how are you going to conclude it? That I leave upon you. But definitely I'll not say that you write it yourself. I'll provide you at least certain pointers to this. Just say you can write about that we are in the Amrit Kal by 2047. Any which ways we want to achieve a robust growth. Or if we want to become a 7 trillion economy, we have to have a robust growth. And for that, we have to be in the double digit growth parameter. If we are not growing in double digit, we will not be able to aim what we actually wanted by 2047. So this is one way to end it. The next way to end it is, yes, you can write about what the government is doing or what the government has done to bring about these changes. Like we have this Anushandhan fund being created. We have Startup India and all for specifically catering to women. We also have, for this business, for rewarding the businesses, we have various multiple initiatives. Like for under the foreign trade policy only, we give the star rating to reward the certain firms. We have PLI scheme, priority linked incentive scheme, wherein we are incentivizing those who are able to manufacture a lot, for bringing in economic efficiency and all. And they should go with your environmental and other things as well. So we have zero effect, zero defect policy and other things. So likewise, you can just conclude your answer giving it a positive note that yes, government is doing a lot, but yes, whatever is government is not able to do, it will be able to catch it up in the near future. But then guys, this is just I can say certain points that I have given you. Now you just read it. And if you have not read this report, then I would say we can have a special session on that as well. You can just comment down in the comment section. I'll take a special session on it. Otherwise, you please write it. Introduction, body, conclusion. Jaise aap exam mein likhoge, you just write it that way. Once written, you submit it to me on ESI for Regulatory Bodies Telegram channel, wherein I'll check it and I'll revert back to you what I feel can be written extra. And if everything is good, then definitely we can move ahead. अदरवाइज हम क्लास में जो भी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, देखो क्वेश्चन ये तो आएगा नहीं. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट ओनली दिस क्वेश्चन इज गोइंग टू कम, but if certainly similar kind of question comes wherein they are discussing about what is the economic challenges that India faces, you can discuss about the middle income trap over there. But you'll only be able to discuss these points if at all you have written it or you have practiced it. So this is take it as a practice question. Take these as the pointers, the points that I have provided you. Now you write the best answer that you can make out of these points, and I'm going to check it, and I'm also going to reward you the marks as well, so that at least you can see that how much you have scored. And agar aap, definitely you are writing it every day and you are submitting it to me and I'll be giving you marks. So in a way, you'll also get this idea that where you can improve. And you have improved or not. But anyways, if we talk about the next question, so one question we have discussed, it's for 600 words. So what is the next question is the Nobel Prize in Economics 2023. It was awarded to Claudia Golden. She was given this award for her work on gender differences in labor market. Discuss how Golden's findings on women's labor force participation, wage gaps, and societal barriers can be applied to address the challenges which are faced by the women in India's workforce. Additionally, highlight the measures taken by Indian government to improve women's participation and to reduce economic disparities. Now, this is the question for you. Before me giving you how to write this answer, you just pause the video and you only think about, if this question comes in your exam, what are you going to write in introduction? Since it's a 400 words answer, I want 40 words to be written in introduction. Then write about the body, what all points you have to catch up in the body part. Since it's just for 400 words, I would say for each and every part of the body part, we can just cover 3 to 4 points. And then you think about a conclusion. That's how you are going to end it. 40 words again. So now you just pause the video, you think what you should be writing in the answer, and then we can have a discussion over it, that if at all whatever you are thinking is correct, or you could have a thought about something else as well. Yes, I know, ho sakta hai Nobel Prize in Economics you might have never read, but then it's not the fault of the examiner, the fault is in you, because हम कैसे नहीं पढ़ेंगे नोबेल प्राइज? वी शुड बी नोबेल प्राइज हम सबको पता होना चाहिए. आफ्टर ऑल इट्स वेरी, वी आर फ्रॉम दिस इकोनॉमिक्स फील्ड, हमें इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ने बोला है, एग्जाम इज ऑल टुगेदर इकोनॉमिक्स, फाइनेंस एंड ऑल, तो हमें नहीं पता, देन इट्स आवर प्रॉब्लम, नॉट ऑफ द एग्जामिनर. It's definitely not out of the box question as well, because in this Nobel Prize they were talking about social justice as well. So talking about women empowerment, somewhere or the other we are talking about social empowerment as well, social justice as well. And that's where these kind of questions, they become very tricky sometimes, because yahan pe they have specifically mentioned you about the work that Claudia Golden has done. But nevertheless, we'll move ahead and we'll see. I feel by now you might have thought about how you're going to approach this. So first thing first, introduction mein what you can write, you can simply write about what Claudia Golden has talked about in her research paper, or for what work she has got this award. You can either start your answer with a quote as well. So you can use a quote while you are starting it. A women empowerment related quote also will be good enough if you want to start it. Then you can discuss about what are the significance of her work, like what all she has talked about in the research work, or how can we apply her work in India's context, because after all we will be more interested to talk about India, right? After that, see what are the challenges that India face, and how certainly the applications of her research work in India will help a lot in bringing in women empowerment. Lastly, you talk about the measurements that have been taken by Indian government, and then you can just conclude it. You can conclude it by telling that how we want India to become better, or how it will help in delivering the promises that India has made in your sustainable development goal. Or you can simply end your answer by a quote. So आप quote भी लिख सकते हो, but that depends upon you, your creativity. So now what you should ideally be doing it, now think about what points you can write in all of these parts. At least, because it's a 400 words question, I would say for each of these parts, at least 3 to 4 points are necessary. But if you have not read it, so definitely you will not be able to answer such kind of questions. For all those who have not read it once, I would say let's have a discussion over the answer. In the introduction part, as I've told you, either write about her work, what she has written. हो सकता है आपको उनके रिसर्च पेपर का एग्जैक्ट टाइटल याद ना हो, दैट्स ओके. एग्जामिनर डजंट एक्सपेक्ट यू टू कीप टाइटल एकदम वर्ड बाय वर्ड याद हो, बट यस, एग्जामिनर डज एक्सपेक्ट यू दैट आपको जस्ट एटलीस्ट पता हो व्हाट शी हैज डिस्कस्ड अबाउट, वो एटलीस्ट पता हो. सो यू कैन जस्ट स्टार्ट अवे फ्रॉम दैट. बट आई वुड से यू बेटर स्टार्ट अवे विद द कोट. The quote would be better, like women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world as per Hillary Clinton, or when women do better, economies do better. This is, I would say, the apt quote for such a kind of a situation. But nevertheless, you can write any quote which you feel like writing. तो जब ऐसा if you get such kind of a question for practice, so in the practice part only, what you can do is, like something comes about climate change. So you just think about, if somebody has said something about this climate change and all this, like in this Tulavu and Palau people, the presidents of these nations, when this UNFCCC meeting was held, so they just stood in their in the up till their knees, they just stood in water, and they were discussing about how we all be in the same situation if we do not try and address the climate change. So such case study you can write about, or you can just think about a quote like, climate change knows no boundary, terrorism knows no boundary. So aise karke you can just start away your answer, your introduction would be lifted, and that's how you can write. Otherwise you can also discuss about the sustainable development goal, if at all. Answer likhna hai, conclusion, because everything you have written in the introduction, you have nothing to be written in, like you have no more points to be written in your conclusion part. You can discuss about SDG, sustainable development goal, and all. I hope it's clear. Anything if you want to ask, please ask. Otherwise we'll move ahead. Okay. So Claudia Golden's research offers a deep understanding of the economic challenges women face because of gender-based disparity. So you can understand that this is not core economics. This is somewhat a mixture of economics as well as your social justice. So women's labor force participation rate, she said that it has a U-shaped curve, where she has emphasized that there was a time when the economies were agriculture. So they were predominantly agrarian economies. And at that particular point of time, the females were working in their own field, in their own agricultural land. So in those days, you will see that female LFPR was relatively higher. Then came your industrialized era. In industrialized era, what happened was, females, or for that matter of fact, the labor, they have to move away from their home. They have to leave their home and they have to move out and work, because machine pe kaam karna hai, so you have to move out. In such case scenario, it became very difficult for the females to come out and work, leaving their household duties back. In that case, what happened was, there was a dip in the LFPR. Specifically for your female, the labor force participation actually decreased. But then, with the coming up of the service sector, with the coming up of your work from home culture again, you are seeing that now female LFPR is going up. Even in the recent PLFS survey, if you remember, we have talked about that how in the recent annual PLFS survey says that female LFPR has increased to 41.1%, which is huge, like jump. Earlier it was 37% or so. This year it is the year that has ended. This year it is 41.1%, which is a good thing to be in. But then in India, if we talk about, now you need to upgrade this data. It is no more 37%. It is 41.1%. Female responsibility, if we talk about marriage, safety concerns, these all are because of one of the reasons why, because we had this U-shaped curve somewhere in the middle of the decade. Next is earning gap. See, we all know there are prejudices. There are certain kind of jobs which are considered as greedy jobs, the same that even Claudia Golden has mentioned in her work, wherein she said that certain jobs, they are the creamy jobs wherein you'll find wage premiums, and you will see that in these jobs, typically your male will be working more, because these jobs require long travels, long working hours, late night meetings, these social gatherings and all, wherein you'll see that females, they are not working, because after all they have this mommy duty, so mommy track is there. So they'll accept the low paying jobs, they'll accept the less paying jobs, the less demanding ones. But then if you are not that ambitious and you are going for a less demanding job, then certainly you'll get less money. Next is expectations and the career choices. Females, right from the beginning, they are being trained, or the society somewhere has ingrained in her mind that from her, the future expectation is not about the economic thing. So she is more expected to play certainly motherly role. The care economy part is more on her. So accordingly, you will see that in STEM education or something like that, you'll never see a female or her family too much enthusiast, though now the things have changed. But then you can certainly take away certain points from here and you can utilize in your answer. I would say, because Golden has herself used these words in her report, so I would say you please pick this up. This is important. If we talk about specifically India, then India mein to your wage gap is there for the same skill, for the same job role. Females are paid somewhat 20 to 30% lower than their male counterpart. The third thing they have highlighted is the societal barriers, specifically the patriarchal society, where the burden of household duty, it's unbalanced. The burden more lies towards your female, because because of which she's into this double burden, dual responsibility she is playing. Despite her significant work, there are several shortcomings. Like Golden, though her work is very great, but then everything is not good. You cannot apply each and everything to India's economy. Reason being, first of all, the sample that she selected was of US only, the sample female and all. Next thing, US is a high income country. In her report, she has not showed true picture of the global south. So yes, certainly we can use certain points of her recommendations, but yet sare points, all the points we cannot utilize. She does not take into account that how to value your household work as well, and that's the problem with India as well. GDP to consider kar liya, we are considering GDP, but we do not know how to value the household work that a female is doing. So I'll just give you an example, don't take it otherwise. In our household, every female, she does some certain kind of work. She cooks, she cleans, everything. So, but she's not paid. She's not treated as employed. At the same time, there can be a scenario where in one household, a female is not cooking, but she has hired another female to cook for her household. In this case scenario, the other one who is coming and doing the same kind of a job, that person will be treated as employed. Kaam to same hai. One person is getting a tag of employed, and the other person, he or she is not even considered for that role. So now what happens is this becomes a problem. Next is Golden's work also does not take into account certain factors like caste, certainly the caste, which also play a crucial role in women accessibility to certain jobs and their bargaining power. We all know how caste hierarchy, class hierarchy is too much there in India's scenario. And that's where again it becomes a problem, a challenge, I would say. But then even if everything is bad, we can take certain points of her research and we can use that in India's context. If you ask me what are these certain points, certain flexible working hours, work from home options, that's how she can maintain the dual role. Not only this, even the male partner or the male partner should be made aware about all of these things, and it can only happen at the grassroots level. That is when the education is being provided. At the same time, it should be ingrained in each and every child's mind that there is nothing like of a female job or a male job. It's all that ghar ka kaam or household chores has to be done by each and every one. Next is establish an affordable and an accessible daycare centers. So if a female is working out, she has certainly in her mind that her child is safe. He or her child is safe at some daycare center or something like that, so that women also are encouraged to join the workforce. The next is equal remuneration is very important. Certainly, some females, they are seriously, they face this kind of a scenario wherein they are doing more, they are putting in more effort, they are more skilled, but then the male counterpart is dominating each and everything. He's getting the better salary, he's also getting due promotions. So in this case scenario, government has to keep in check that even after this minimum wages law and all, the females, they are given the due share of their work, and equality must prevail in this sphere as well. Training, education specifically for females, that is also there, so that women are empowered. Just like a maternal leave concept is there, we can have a paternal leave concept as well, though there are leave, but the leaves are very, very less in number. There can be flexible career options, which allows a female that once she take a leave because of some family responsibility or all, or if she is coming back, she is not she is treated at par with others. Retraining programs can be there. So let's suppose if a female has taken a break from her career because of her family responsibility for 1 to 2 years, she can retrain herself and then can come back to work. What Indian government has done. So in the conclusion, you can write at least two to 3 points out of this. You can discuss about the Maternal Benefit Act, which was there. You can discuss about how the crèche facility was made mandatory by the government of India. We can also discuss about the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. You can discuss about how Digital India program, the Digital Saksharta Abhiyan, it wants to empower your rural women. Equal Remuneration Act, which puts into this, which actually asks these private sector to give equal wage to both the women as well as the men who are working at the same level. In the conclusion, you can either end it via a quote, whatsoever the quote, you can write it from here, or you can also write that we need to define the work structures. We need to limit the greedy work culture, and we need to encourage the shared responsibility. Because if we have to really close this gender gap, or if we want that, as the Asian Development Bank says, that if India wants to grow at double digit, it's very important that it allows male and female LFPR to be at the same rate. So, India will start growing more by 4%. So, but then this is only possible if female are working at par with their male counterpart. For that, we need to limit the culture. Greedy work culture has to be limited. We need to encourage the shared responsibility, and it can help India close the gender gap. Rest, you can just write a quote on this, and that's how you can end up your answer. If not quote, if you have some great case study, you can discuss about the case study as well. That's all from my side. Now, what you have to do is, see, we have discussed 2 questions. One is a 600 words question, one is a 400 words. So for a 600 words, you should not be spending more than beyond 19-20 minutes in typing. So you take 19-20 minutes now, because discuss to kar liya hai. You have thought about what you are going to write. Take these 19-20 words, write an answer, type an answer, submit it to me, I'll check it. The same ways goes for your 400 words also. For 400 words question, ideally not more than 14-15 minutes you should be spending. That's maximum. You type the answer, you submit it to me. Before submitting it, just give it a reading for 1 to 2 minutes of revision. The rereading you can do, so that you can just check that if there is some spelling error, some grammatical error or something like that. So this definitely you can keep a check on. And you can use the answer writing skill that I have already told you multiple times, like in the for highlighting anything. Maybe if you are not using this bold, definitely you will not be using bold and all. So what you can do is, for highlighting in such case, you can just keep it in the caps form. The caps you can just keep it. So, but this is just what you can do it. The rest, it depends upon you. Write your answer in pointers form, and whatsoever the case may be, you submit your answers, both the answers, and while you are submitting it to me, in the end, do write usme kitne words the, how much words have you written, and also write that how much time it took for you to type. So whatsoever the time may be, you please give it to me. And if you're finding anything problematic over there, we can have a discussion. That's all from my side. Thank you and have a nice day.